All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is Chat Has Turned into a Christian. And basically, it's giving me the runaround of avoiding the questions and then, returning back to the same answers for the same question. It's just is basically, BSing. So, and what I want to say first, well, I seen a brother's page. He said, basically chat doesn't say that, Edom is alive today or that the white man is Edom. And I didn't believe it, or I just wanted to see for myself, you know. So I started asking chat some questions. Now this is Grok. So this is the one that Elon Musk made, or whatever the case may be. But as you can see, we're gonna find out this thing is now just a Christian. You can break it down to a Christian a billion times, and tell them the answer. Then they're gonna go to a different question and forget what just happened 2 minutes ago, whatever the case. But you're gonna see. Now I'm showing you this because I'm not gonna read all of it, but you can see all of it, so you can pause, start, read if you want to. Ask it the same question, see if you get the same answer, whatever you want to do. All right, so I asked it some questions up top, but we're not gonna get to that. We're gonna get it right here. It says, and I said in Obadiah 1:15, it says, "The day of the Lord is near upon all heathen." Did this take place yet? It said yes. From the perspective of the Bible itself, both Old and New Testaments, the day of the Lord spoken of in Obadiah 1:15 and the surrounding short prophecies has already taken place. Here's why biblical scholars, Jewish and Christian conservatives, and critical overwhelmingly place its fulfillment in antiquity, right, which is the past, meaning that it had already taken place, and this has not taken place yet, right? I wanted to get that Amos 8 and was it Amos 3 and 7 or 3 and 8? He revealed his secret to the prophets, right? Let me see real quick, because they don't have it. They don't have the truth. It don't really matter what they say at all. All right. We, the prophets, use them sometimes, because they go out there and they do the little scholarly research. They dig up the dirt for us and all of that, so we can get back to our understanding of who we are and what we went through and all of that. But other than that, they don't got it. They don't have it. All right. Amos 3 and 7 says, "Surely the Lord Yahweh Bashim shall do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servant the prophets." All right, so he's going to reveal the secrets to his servant the prophets, right? The men of the Lord. He's not going to give his word unto the heathen, which he hasn't done, right? They don't have it. Psalms 147 says that clearly. Let me grab this real quick so you can know. Psalms 147, it says, let me get from 8:19. Psalms 147:19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise you, the Lord Yahweh Bashim. So from these scriptures here, we can clearly say that these devils don't have it. They can't teach us, right? They can agree with us, and that's about it. They can't correct us or anything like that, right? So they don't have the word. We have the word, and we're telling you that this has taken place. I mean, it's like it. This has not taken place yet, right? Because it's going to be in the kingdom of heaven, which I go on to ask this chat, right? Which has turned into a Christian, all right? So Obadiah 1:15 has not taken place yet. Chat is now saying it's taking place. It tries to break down, which I didn't ask shit about these other, scriptures right here, but it gave it all to me because it's trying to save his Esau friend, right? Just like Genesis Israelites, right? Which ain't happening. It says, now I'm not really gonna read too much of all of this stuff here. I'm just showing you that it has turned into a Christian, but you can see all the words here, if you want to read it. So I said, did Isaiah 2 and 2 happen already? It says no. Isaiah 2:2-4 has not yet been fully and literally fulfilled. Most biblical scholars, Jewish and Christian, agree that this famous prophecy still awaits its ultimate fulfillment. Here's the breakdown. right? So Isaiah 2:2 goes into the fact that, all nations will flow unto the mountain of Israel, right? Which will be the new kingdom, New Jerusalem, right? Established in the world where peace will be, right? And you can't get around that at all. Even chat says that, right? It ain't no parts or anything like that. So bottom line, it says Isaiah 2 through 4 is one of the clearest still future prophecies in the entire Bible, from their point. But they can't get around that because it says they shall not learn war anymore. And check outside right now. It's warring, right? It says the world we live in today does not look anything like the universal peace and Torah-centered world government described there. Most believers, Jewish and Christian alike, are still waiting for it. So I asked this. So Obadiah 1:17 takes place in the kingdom, right? New Jerusalem, where Israel is ruling to bring that peace, right? It says yes. Obadiah 1:17 through 21 is almost universally understood by both Jewish and Christian scholars to describe events that belong to the same future messianic millennial age, right? As Isaiah 2:2 through 4, Micah 4:1 through 4, Zechariah 14, and in the New Jerusalem passages in Revelation 21 and 22, right? So it said yes to my question, basically. It goes on to, give some points and all of that. So yes, Obadiah 1:17 through 21 happens in the future Masonic kingdom centered on a restored and exalted Jerusalem, the same era that brings the universal peace of Isaiah 2 and 4, in the final New Jerusalem, the complete destruction of Edom, and the full possession of the land by Israel are still ahead of us in that coming age. Okay, beautiful. I said, so why does it mention Obadiah 1? I said, so why does it mention in Obadiah 1 and 18 that Esau will be stubble in that kingdom of peace? It says, great question. It sounds paradoxical at first. How can there be a kingdom of perfect peace and a violent destruction of Esau, Edom happening at the same time? It says the answer is that the Bible presents these events in two distinct phases that belong to the same overall Masonic timeline. So when I was looking at this, I got over. Oh, sorry. Me. All right. So it says this happens. This happens just before or at the establishment of the Masonic kingdom. It is the final war, Armageddon, Gog, Magog, in some interpretations. Right. So this is when World War III takes place. Right. It says judgment. So the phase one right there says judgment and cleansing phase, day of the Lord and his wrath aspect, right? And it says this happens just before or at the establishment of the Masonic kingdom. Okay. What happens? Yahweh judges and removes every wicked nation, kingdom, and individual that has opposed Israel and Yahweh's plan. Edom is singled out as the ultimate symbol of that rebellion because of its ancient hatred, right? And then, I didn't even read the peace part. So but, it's the establishment of our kingdom, of course. So it's breaking down into phase. So it's in short, Edom is burned up right at the transition point so that the kingdom that follows has no enemies left to disturb the peace. The fire comes first, then the peace. Both are part of the same day of the Lord. And it's like I didn't even read that part right there. I was kind of pissed, trying to see what these questions were talking about and, the answer that it was giving me. And that's probably the point right there. It says, so then I asked, so Esau, Edom is alive today, correct, to be destroyed at the establishment of the Masonic kingdom? Because you still said, Esau needs to be destroyed. Right? It says it right there. Edom is burnt up right at the transition point. And then it says, no. Literal Esau, Edom is not alive today as a people, and the Bible never says a revived Edomite nation or ethnic group will exist to be destroyed, which I say nothing about that. It added that part in there. So it's in his feelings too. It's a true Christian right now, right? It says no, literal Esau Edom is not alive today as a people, and the Bible never says a revived Edomite nation or ethnic group will exist to be destroyed at the establishment of the Messianic kingdom, which this Christian just told me that was going to happen. All right. So it says, so no, the actual Edomite nation is not walking around today waiting for a second destruction, which they are. The Bible already declared that chapter closed forever. It's like it, you know, I'm kind of close to the mic, whatever, but you know how it is. It says, so I said, but Isaiah 2:2 says all nations will flow to Israel. This is a distinct difference between the nations and Esau, because you know this thing is talking about that it says something about symbolic or something. Let me see. Let me see where it said that. Yeah, right here. It says, so what does the house of Esau mean in the final judgment passages? It says, in the future, Salakia, in the future Masonic context, Esau Edom becomes a symbol, the archetype of every nation, power, or person that has perpetually hated and opposed Jacob, Israel, and Yahweh's plan. That's what he's saying. It's a symbol. Okay. Then I said, okay. Then I said, but Isaiah 2:2 says all nations will flow to Israel. This is a distinct difference between the nations and Esau, because it says Esau represents every nation, right? That's what it said. And I said, but that's, you know, it's a difference. And it says, you're raising a sharp point. And I'm not done with this. It says you're raising a sharp point. But I mean, but it's a Christian. You got to see this. It says you're raising a sharp point. And it actually strengthens the case that literal Edom is not one of the nations that survived to flow up to Zion and the Masonic kingdom. It says, look at the prophecy side by side. The Bible itself makes a deliberate distinction. I read a little bit of this. It says right here, all nations, many people, the survivors from the nations, and it says no mention of Edom here. Then it says down here in the Obadiah, the house of Esau, Mount Seir is burnt up, left desolate forever, no survivors. It says Edom is singled out for total permanent extinction, unlike the other nations. All right. Read this what it says. It says, so yes, Isaiah 2:2, all nations shall flow into it, is after Edom, and everything Edom symbolizes has already been reduced to stubble and removed forever. The distinction you spotted is real, and the Bible uses it deliberately to show that the final kingdom has, it says, zero traces of Edom left, which is going to be the case after the 1,000-year period, you know, pursuant to Obadiah 1:18. So then I was like, so it's not symbolic then if Edom is singled out from the other nations. And it says exactly, the Bible treats the total extinction of Edom literally and historically, while the other nations have literal survivors who enter the Messianic kingdom. It says the prophets are not speaking symbolically when they single Edom out for the no survivors treatment. They are making a deliberate, concrete contrast. So this thing is confusing itself. It doesn't know if Esau is alive today, not alive today, being, you know, alive to be destroyed at the establishment of the kingdom, or going to be destroyed. It doesn't know. It says, so you're absolutely right, because Edom is singled out from the other nations that do have survivors flowing to Zion. The prophecy about Edom's extinction is not symbolic in the same way. The Bible means it literally. In history records that it literally happened. There is no Edomite nation, tribe, or distinct people left today. And scriptures never says there will be one again. But it's telling me that Edom is going to be destroyed at the establishment of the kingdom, which the kingdom has not been established yet, which is probably my next question. It says, so Edom is alive. So I said, so Edom is alive then today if it's literal, right? It says, no, Edom is not alive today, even taking the prophecies literally. So look at this Christian. What are you talking about? It says, no, Edom is not alive today, even taking the prophecies literally. All right, so let me read this again. It says, because Edom is singled out from the other nations that do not have survivors on Zion, the prophecy about Edom's extinction is not symbolic in the same way. The Bible means it literally, and history records that it literally happened. There is no so my question, hold on, then be established and nations shall be foreign to it. No war. But that's not the case. Why? Let's see live, y'all. It's gonna tell me something. So this is what I asked it while I try to figure out what it's gonna tell me. It says so I said, so if it has already happened, then the kingdom of Israel should be established and nations should be flowing to it with no war. But that's not the case. Why? And then it says, you just hit the exact reason why most biblical scholars, Jewish and Christian alike, say that Obadiah 1, 17 through 21, and the parallel messianic kingdom passages are still future, even though the first part of the prophecy, the total extinction of literal Edom, has already been fulfilled. So what this chat is telling me now is that Edom was already destroyed, but the kingdom is not established yet. Oh my goodness. It says the prophets deliberately wrote it this way, meaning the two phases. One prophecy, two phases, separated by a long period of time, the current age we're living in. That's why Edom can be literally gone forever, while the swords into plowshares world is still ahead of us. Yeah, so as you can see, this thing doesn't know what it's talking about. All right, so I just wanted to bring that out, and it's true. They're wiggling around who the Edomites are now, right? And this is shameful spewing on this devil's glory because this chat came out, the prophets were all over it, bringing out the fact that chat is saying that the so-called and self-proclaimed white man are the Edomites today, right? Multiple videos, right? It's all out there, and now all of a sudden it's not saying it anymore. And we told y'all that they've been tweaking and trying to fix it to make it lie to you, right? And it seems like they have accomplished that. So let me grab you. Never trust thine enemies. Just a whole bunch. Right? The scriptures tell us not to trust our enemies because this is the shit they do. Grab that. All right. It says Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. All right. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him and his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. And this is the point with this chat and this AI and this MOTB and this peace and safety, right, in this digital system. As you can see, the chat is a Christian now. It's no longer telling you the truth that has been put out there already by the same chat, right? It's just like these JWOs that's paying the people to paying them $7,000 per post to spread some fake news about how they're so great and they're not committing the G word over there in the land, when we all see it all over the news, right? And if they could, they will delete all those videos. They bought TikTok, right? And the rest of these things to try to hide the truth. And that's what they're doing right here. They're hiding the truth. All right, let me grab this. What is it? That's all that is, and we see it and we know it, and it makes us happy too. It makes me happy because they're troubled on every side, right? They're afraid. I want to grab it's like it wants to. All right, so this is Isaiah 29 and 15. It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Yahweh Bashim, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the works say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he have no understanding? Right? And this is Esau Edom trying to say that he's not Esau Edom. That's what's happening. All right. And so that pretty much that's it. Esau is running scared. I say shalom to the elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.